Hi, so I'm making this video today because I'm finally going to be rewigging my Lindsey doll. I got her as a Christmas gift last year from my husband, and she's from eBay. And the seller did not have great pictures of her. And when I got her bangs right here, I don't know if you can see, I had to chop all this off because it was like melted together into like this huge, like gross blob on the top of her head. And it does not look great. Her hair is dry all over. It doesn't curl or anything anymore. And I got tired of it. And the thing is, I would just send her to the doll hospital, but you may or may not know, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, they depleted their stock of Lindsey heads, so they won't even do a head replacement on her anymore. So that's where this comes in. I found this wig. It's from a brand called BBeauty, and it is specifically made to be a replacement for the Lindsey wig. It doesn't look like it's going to be exactly the same, but it's probably the closest you're going to get. So I got this on eBay. They also have a website. I'll probably link that in the description. But it came in this turquoise bubble mailer, and you get this right here. I don't know if it's going to be backwards on the video. It says exclusive design doll products for adult collectors. And this is what the wig came in. And you can see it says Lindsey semi-real reddish brown. And this is an 11 to 12 size wig, which is what fits American Girl dolls. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. I figure I'll record the rewigging process. And oh, I got my knife out. It has a Ziploc, so I don't even need that. I'm going to do a review of the wig and show the process. We'll see how similar it looks, if it can be styled similarly to genuine American Girl doll wigs. So here, it came in a net. I took it off camera. It came in a net. It had this inside to hold its shape. And this is what it looks like, which honestly already this is looking pretty similar to me. Actually, yeah, I like this a lot better than the pictures on the eBay listing. It's very soft. It's easy to run your fingers through. It feels pretty similar to an American Girl wig. I would say it probably feels a little bit better, honestly. I don't want to jump the gun yet and say that it's like amazing or anything, but I'll go ahead and cut the video to me removing the old wig, and we can go ahead and get this on and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so hopefully you can see what I've got going on here. I've laid down a towel. I went ahead and took her clothes off just so I didn't have to worry about getting those messed up. I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I'm using for this. There's about 1 million rewigging videos already on YouTube, so this isn't anything different, but if you've never seen one before, I'm just going to show you how this goes. So first off, you're going to need something like this. A spoon is probably what most people use. Anything that's kind of like curved so you can get underneath the wig. It'll like curve to the shape of their head. And next, and most importantly, now on an older doll like this, I might be able to just pry it off without this, but I didn't want to take my chances, so I went and got some. You need nail polish remover, and it is very, very important that it be non-acetone nail polish. Do not use anything with acetone in it. It has to be non-acetone or it will mess up their vinyl. That's going to soften up the glue and make it easier. And then lastly, you're going to need some kind of glue to put the new wig on. I am using Aleene's tacky glue. This is probably what most people use. You can also use E6000, which is permanent. You will not get this wig back off if you use that. I am not going to take my chances with that. I don't know if I'm going to like this. I might want to take it off in the future and do something different. I've always found that tacky glue holds perfectly fine for my needs. If you're doing this for like a little girl who's playing with this doll a lot, maybe E6000 might be worth it. For me, it's not. I'm a collector. They mostly just sit on a shelf, and I do their hair every few months. So tacky glue does fine. And with this, if it comes off, you can just put more on. So this is what I prefer to use, but you can also use E6000. I don't know of any other glues that are okay to use. Those are the only two I ever see people using. So I'm also actually gonna go grab one more thing before I get started, so I'll be right back. All right, this is something I've never seen anybody else do. I'm a stickler for like authentic, everything be the way it was meant to, American Girl collecting. That's just the way I prefer to do it. I want to make sure this wig is in exactly the same place that it was before. The part and the like part on her forehead. So I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to mark, see if I can get this closer. I'm going to just mark where her part is right there. And then I'm going to draw a line where the wig goes on at. And I'll see if you can even see that. You might not be able to. There might be a reason nobody else does this. I'm probably not going to go all the way around. Yeah, I'm kind of having some trouble with this. This might not have been the best idea. I'm getting a faint line, which is what I wanted. I'm just going to do that across the top of her head, and I can line everything else back up if I need to. So yeah, that's where the part was. Okay. Hopefully that's not a bad idea. I don't know if you can see. It's a very faint line where I've marked where the part is. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. Ideally, you would probably want a pipette or something to more carefully pour this on their head. I don't have one, so I'm just gonna be very careful when I do this. It's part of why I laid the towel down. So let's start on the back of her head. I just dropped my nail polish. Let me clean that up so it doesn't mess up my table. And I'm gonna move that somewhere more secure. Let's see. I've got this. Let me tie her hair up so it's not in the way. I don't really care about this wig anymore, so I'm not going to be particularly careful with this. You'll want to let this sit for a while. I don't know if you can see that. Just very carefully around the edge. I'll see if I can get up closer so you can see what I do a little bit easier. Just pour a little bit, not a lot. It doesn't need to be a lot. And just do that all the way around. I think I've almost got it. I'm probably using a lot more than I need to, but like I said, I don't have anything very precise to apply this with, so I'm doing the best I can. So you're gonna wanna let that sit for a few minutes, just so it'll have some time to soften up, and I will be back in a few minutes. All right, been about 5 minutes. I added a little bit more in the meantime, and I switched up my camera angle, so hopefully you can see this. If you can't, like I said, there's a ton of other videos on how to do this. You can go and watch one of those. This is probably not the best job anybody's ever done at making a tutorial for this. I just kind of wanted to show the process and give a review of the wig, so I'm not going to worry about it too much, but I will try my best to let you see what's going on. So like I said, it's been about 5 minutes. I went ahead and pried up just a little bit of the wig back here in the corner. I don't know if I did. I got all the way through the glue. I don't know if you can hear that kind of like crunchy noise. That's the wig coming up. Once you have a tiny little section, it's a lot easier to get under there. It's just really getting in the first place. Actually, well, no. Let me keep trying this first before I take drastic measures. But you see, it's coming up just a little bit right there. There's really only a band of glue around the edges. I think on some dolls, there's some like on the crown of their head too. I'm not going to be talking very much during this part because I have to concentrate, so bear with me. Wow, I'm glad I got acetone because this is not coming off easily. the last doll I did this to was a number 23 from probably 2004 or 2005. Hers came off a lot easier than this, which is interesting because she's newer. Okay, I think I finally got a pocket made under the wig. Yeah. So, is that if you can see it? So, once you can get your spoon fully in there, this becomes a lot easier. And I always like to start at the back of the wig just in case something goes wrong, so that way you can't see it as much. Might have been a good idea to take her head off for this, but too late. Okay. As you're taking it off, you're going to get some little pieces left behind, like that right there. That's normal. I believe they would glue those on around the edge of the wig to make it look a little bit more realistic, especially in the front. Okay, all right, this is coming off really easily now. And just about it. I've got just the smallest section behind her ear left. Some of her wig cap ripped and is still on there. I'll probably have to put some more acetone on that, but I'll see if I can pull it off. Okay, there's most of the wig. It looks really bad now. So I'm definitely not going to be reusing that for anything, I don't think. Still got a little bit of this left right here. This is some of the edge of the wig cap. I'm going to try to clean this up the best I can before I put the new one on. You do kind of want a little bit left so you kind of have a guide of where to put the wig. Assuming you don't want to change up where it was on their forehead, which probably most people don't, but maybe you do. This is what's going to be left behind. You can see the back of their head. She's actually got a hole in the back of her head right there. I don't know that I've ever seen one with that, but they always have this like seam right here, except for the bald dolls. But I'm going to cut again, and I'm going to take a minute to kind of clean this up, and I'll be back. Just spent a little bit of time kind of going around the edge and cleaning up some of this glue. It's pretty impossible to get all of it off. I just took my knife, well, this part of my knife, and very carefully went around the edge and just kind of scraped off some of the bigger chunks of glue. Be very careful when you're doing this. If you do this part, you will take out chunks of their vinyl. Ask me how I know. So that's pretty much ready. I'm happy with how that looks. I got most of the hair off. Before I glue it down, I'm going to put this on, see how it looks, figure out the placement that I want, and then we'll take it back off. These wigs are kind of stretchy. They have some elastic in them, which I don't think the American Girl wigs do. No, they don't. So I thought this was going to be too small, but I think it'll actually be okay because of that stretch. So let's see. Probably need to put it right there. What's going to be the best way to do this? Maybe like that. Okay, yeah. So let me get this situated and I'll show you guys how this looks when it's on. Okay, I think that's good enough for now. Oh wow, I actually really like that. That looks almost exactly the same. That's really good. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like this, just going off of the pictures in the listing, because they didn't look super similar, but let's see if I can tilt that up. I think that looks really good. It's not quite the same. I might have gotten some of the little baby hairs on this side caught up underneath the wig. I know there's a few loose ones on this side, or short ones on this side, but I'll fix that before I glue it down. I think I've got the part, and I might need to move it over a little bit, but yeah, that's what that looks like. I think that looks really, really good. I'll show you the back too. It's got a little flip in it. You could probably curl this. I don't really know exactly how it's supposed to look like perfectly, because American Girl has like 5 different hairstyles in their promotional photos for Lindsey. So I'll play with that a little bit, and I'll probably show that after we get it glued on. But that's how it looks now, and I think that looks really good. I'm very happy with this so far. So I'm ready to do the gluing finally, and I just realized if you have a new bottle of tacky glue, you need to cut off the end, and it's a good thing I have my trusty knife here that I've already used several times. This is really coming in handy today. There we go. So now we're ready to go. I am going to glue it in the same places that it was glued before. Some people go all over the head. I'm not gonna bother with it. So basically, you'll want to go just around the sides where the previous glue was, and on the top. If I remember correctly, some of the newer dolls don't have this glue on the top. You could do it if you wanted to. If not, it's probably okay since it wasn't there in the first place. It just kind of depends on your preference. I'm going to go ahead and put it wherever it was before. So you don't need a ton, just a light strip. I would actually go slightly above this line just so it has some room to spread. And do a little swirl on top like that. And I'll spread this out a little bit with my fingers too, just so it's nice and even. And once you get this on, you'll probably want to work pretty quickly. If you've never worked with tacky glue before, it tends to go tacky, as the name implies, pretty fast. I mean, you've got a little bit of time to work with, so don't rush through it, but you don't want to leave it too long. Okay. That's nice and spread out, and that looks terrifying, but okay, moment of truth. I put the wig up in a couple of little pigtails just to kind of keep everything out of the way, and I'll move her this way. I'm going to start from the front so I get everything lined up the way I want it. And, oops. Well, I got that all over that. Tacky glue is water soluble, by the way, so if you get a little bit on the hair, it'll be fine. Just try your best not to, but if you do, it's okay. Okay. And do your best to line this up the way it was before so you don't get any of that glue line peeking through. And you'll also want to make sure you don't have any pieces of hair stuck underneath the wig, if you can help it. That needs to be moved over a little bit this way, I think. Yeah, like that. And so I was just thinking, while I'm doing this, I'll address this. I just said tacky glue is water soluble, which is true. If you ever need to wash the hair, I've never had any problems with anything coming loose. Just don't like leave it soaking in the water or anything, but I have washed dolls that have been rewigged before, and it was totally fine. So just in case anybody was wondering about that. Okay, I think, yeah, okay, I've got that lined up the way I want. So this is what it looks like in the little pigtails. Got that how I want it. It's at the same level. Might try to move this part over just a little bit more. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm gonna go get a Q-tip and some water and just kind of go around the edge and try to clean up as much of that glue as I can before it dries. This is what I'm doing. I've got some Q-tips and some water and just kind of, well, sorry, my camera angles aren't the best. Just kind of rubbing it around. Don't get underneath it or anything, but just around the edges where you don't want the glue to show. Just kind of scrub it off and try to get it off of the hair. I'll get a better shot of the hair in just a second. I'll go ahead and try to get all of this off the skin that I can first. And this does dry clear as well, so if you have a little bit of glue showing, it'll be okay. But you want to try your best to get as much off as possible. Okay. Now for the hair, I really don't have it anywhere except in the bangs, which I figured would happen. Let me see if I can move you down a little bit. Nope, it's not gonna work. I have a makeshift tripod here. I'm just kind of running it through the parts with glue, and that's breaking up pretty easily. And it'll probably be easier to do this once this is dried and I can be a little bit rougher, but I'm gonna try to get as much out as I can now. And that already looks pretty good, so I'm not going to bother with that anymore. And go ahead and take this out. I think, actually, I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'll probably get a sock and put over her head just to kind of hold this down as the glue dries. I found this Pringles sock that I don't mind sacrificing for the cause, so I'm going to try to get that over her head. Normally socks fit pretty good over AG heads. So while I do this, I want to be careful not to move anything around, which, let me double check. Yep, that looks fine. And there we go. So before you do this, you want to double check, make sure everything is in the right place. It's not loose. It's pulled all the way down on the back of the wig. That's something that could potentially be a problem because you're mostly paying attention to the front, but make sure it's pulled all the way down in the back too, because you don't want your wig cap all scrunched up on the top. So I'm going to leave her like this for a while, and I'll probably put her in front of my air conditioner or a fan, and I will come back when it's dry and we'll talk about how I feel about the wig and we'll try to style it. An amount of time has passed, and we know that because I'm wearing different clothes now. I have not waited probably as long as I should to do this, but tacky glue dries pretty fast, so I feel pretty comfortable going ahead and doing this. She's been sitting in front of my air conditioner for a while, so that probably helped a little bit, but I'll still be kind of careful when I take this off. And then I'll do some brushing and some styling and we'll see how it goes. She's got some little glue pieces in her hair. I'm gonna try to get those out. Where's my hairbrush? I think it's actually in the thing that I've got this camera. It was not in there, it was in my living room, but I found it. So I'll do some brushing. I'm gonna use just a little bit of water since this is still kind of wet. I don't want to use too much, but I also don't want to brush it while it's completely dry. So just a little bit, just to get it smoothed out, and I'll be very gentle when I do this. This feels really nice. I'm still really happy with this. I think this was a good decision. Get it nice and smooth and I'll show you. I feel like the bangs might be a little bit too long, which I think is My only complaint with this, yeah, I don't know. I might try to trim the bangs a little bit. I don't know. I don't want to mess it up accidentally, but that's what it looks like. It's pretty close to... It looked like her forehead was really small, so I was freaking out that I got it messed up. I think it's in the same place. I don't know. I'll have to play with it a little bit, but I think it looks like it will... I think curling it won't be a problem. I kind of twirl it around my finger and it looks like it curls pretty well. Yeah, my air conditioner just kicked on, so I don't know if you can hear that. Hopefully you can. Hopefully it's not drowning me out. I think I'm gonna go ahead and call this video here. If you're interested in something like this, I think this is a really good option. It's not perfect. It's not gonna be exactly the same, but in current year, it's gonna be the best you can get probably. I've never seen anybody else that sells a wig like this, so BBeauty.com, I think, is their website. This is probably going to be your best bet. I know they sell a few other replica wigs. I know they've got a Samantha and an Addie and a Kirsten, I believe. They might have some more. If you're interested in those, I would probably still send those dolls to the doll hospital, unless you had like a Pleasant Company doll and you didn't want them to replace the head completely. But yeah, I'm happy with this. I think it's a good wig. It's a really good option for a Lindsey doll. I might take some pictures and include them at the end, but I would say I highly recommend this. It feels really good. It's high quality. And if you're interested in it, this is a good option. So thank you for watching this video. I might have a new video out in a few weeks, or maybe sooner. I've got something coming that I kind of want to film, but that's it. Thank you.
So here's a couple of stock photos of Lindsey. You can see what I mean when I said that they show her with a few different hairstyles. And this is the replica wig compared to those. You can see it does have some curl in it. You could flip it at the end depending on how you want it. And then this is the original wig on the left and the new one on the right. So you can see there is a little bit of a color difference, but it's not really noticeable. And that's about it. Thank you for watching.